lasers coming out of his eyes. He looks quite happy now. Chubby little face, isn't he? Look, do you see the resemblance? Which one's which? Anyway, hello, welcome to Fieros' story time. My beautiful baby. It's so nice to see you. Hello, baby. So we're going to be carrying on the stories of Fieros Law. Come on, you. I want to get him in there. There he is. Yeah, you can stay there. Oh, little face at the bottom there, keeping it real. Keeping it on the reel. Keeping it in the reel. Look at him sat there, casting a shadow. He looks more real than I do. I love this little Buddha thing. I'm not actually a Buddhist. I don't think I qualify as a Buddhist. But I do like the statues. I think they've got their own spirit to them. He's so calm, isn't he? He's just sat there, just like happy with anything. See, he doesn't mind that I'm like, up yours, Buddha. Go fuck yourself. He's still happy with it. He doesn't mind. So let's put him over to the side now. Okay. Why don't you sit there as my audience member, you freaking weirdo? I'm the weirdo. There he is. Listening away. So, Buddha, I want to tell more of the story. This is ridiculous. I want to tell... Why have I got the Buddha there? I want to tell more of the story. It's got flowers in him. He's been outside. I sort of keep him active, you know. I've got to keep him moving around so that he's... what is going on with this camera position? Everything's wrong here today. That's a bit better. Yeah, I want to... I don't know what I'm doing. I want to tell more of the story, but I'm knackered. I'm quite knackered. I don't know why. It's because I've been working for ages on this sight cord thing that's finally finished, and I suppose it's like... I don't have to do it anymore. I haven't been very active today. I don't even know what I've done. I feel like I've done absolutely nothing today. I feel like I've just lounged around, which I probably have. I lounged around in bed. I lounged around in the garden. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon or even 5 or 6 before I even put any fucking clothes on. As in, I was in my PJs for the whole of the day. I wasn't ill or anything. I was just bumbling around. I don't know what I did today. I went down to the canal most recently and lay on the bench there for about 5-10 minutes. That was boring. I had a shower for ages. I helped my mum pick some blackberries from her allotment. Isn't that right, Buddha? Yes, I did. You cute little monkey. And, what? Yeah, and I helped my mum figure out how to use the remote for the 500th time in my life. It's very simple. You just learn it. Press this one, put it on the right channel, then use this other one to operate the skybox. She's never learned it, and every time it's a new mystery. She picks up the thing. She's like, what? I don't know what I'm doing. Well, what about the last time I told you how to do it? And what about the 5 million times I told you how to do it before that? Hey, Buddha? Yeah, you don't care. You're just peaceful anyway and happy with anything, aren't you? So I want to tell more of the story, but Buddha has distracted me a little bit. Yeah, I'm just knackered. I've been working so hard, and I finally stopped, and now I feel like knackered. So I had a shower. What else did I do? Didn't see any foxes today. I was gonna play a computer game, but I got so bored waiting for the thing to load. I just lay on my bed instead. Oh, oh, my laptop's really shit as well, which is just taking ages. So I gave up on that. I haven't done anything today. I've eaten. I swear I've eaten something. I ate coleslaw and tuna thing with mayonnaise, extra mayonnaise. Oh, what else have I done? I've like not even watched anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I've done. Ah, I don't know how. It's like it's got to 10:20, and I've done like absolutely no activities apart from walk up to the canal, lie on it, and do a bit of blackberry picking. And the rest of the time, what have I been doing? What actually have I been doing though? I've been just walking around the house, I think, going, sat in the chair in the lounge, just looked around the lounge. I just sat there, like looking around. I don't know. Normally, I'll be like reading something or watching something on my time off, time down, whatever downtime. And now, just looking around at stuff, and not even like registering anything really. I wasn't actively going, right, I'm going to look at the flowers because I might think about drawing them in the future, or I want to see what their energy's like and all this stuff. Just no, don't know what I was doing. I was in a coma. I was in a whole coma all day, basically. Isn't that right, Buddha? Huh? Yes. I played around with you for a little bit, didn't I? Didn't I? I just sat there talking to you in the garden. Remember? And I looked at the plants. Ah, yeah. I moved some plants around. That was good. That was real good. That took a good minute or three. Put two plants in the toilet. Not in the actual toilet thing, but in the toilet room. Yeah, to brighten it up, which was nice. I had the shower. I told you about the shower, and I was practicing this thing where I was trying to de-blurify my headspace by like putting my head under the shower for ages and ages and ages, just like and feeling that feeling there. And I was thinking, come on, clear out the head. Oh yeah, because I had a bit of a hangover as well. Because yesterday I wanted to celebrate the fact that I'd done my whole book thing. This Buddha's cute little toes. Yeah, I wanted to celebrate the fact that I'm now an alcoholic. Look at these little toes. They're so cute. They're like little baby toes. Aww, and they're golden toes as well. Why can't I get the fucking thing to work? Toes. Little baby toes. There. It's like little baby toes. They're so cute. Anyway. Yeah. I could have a baby. As long as it just sat there and didn't complain about anything. And was just like, you know, like a Buddha basically. But if it starts whining and is not smiling like this the whole time, then I don't think I could have a baby. It's like a violin. Yeah. What am I like? Let's play the violin. Oh, goodness, either. Sorry. Okay, that's enough. Okay, Buddha boy. Buddha boy. Can't you just like sit on my shoulder? That's better. Like a parrot. He looks more real than I do, I swear. He's more of a human being than I am. He just looks so real, like, do you know what I mean? He's all shiny, and look at me, I'm all green. Green and pink-faced. And he's all like, yeah, yellow, shiny, golden Buddha man. Go away now. You listen with your eyes closed over there. So, I know you're still listening. Okay, yeah, so I want to tell the story more, even though I'm knackered, because I sort of feel like I want to roll now. Yeah, and I just want to get this finished. You know, look at my lovely little girl hair. Such a girl. Blonde girl hair. Yeah, I want to get it finished now, really, I suppose, because I've finished the book, and now I feel like, yeah, if I get to the end of this story in some meaningful way of end, as in, like, I don't necessarily have to tell every single story part of the thing. Why is my head not in the shot? Oh. If I finish the story all the way through, in some way, like, I don't have to say every detail, but if I finish the whole story all the way through, then, well, it would just clear my mind out, I suppose, is what I'm looking for. I want to get that feeling of like, oh, okay, it's done now, I don't have to say it ever again. Or I just feel a release of having told everything. So, let's get to the point of, I'm not going to do the idioms thing today, I just can't be bothered. I'm too tired. So, let's talk about the wheelchair perv guy. So, we got to that far. Let's try and put this back in context again. So let's go back to when I was 18 years old. I was 18 years old. I was going out with Mrs. A. That fell apart because she cheated on me while she was at university. She cheated on me with one of her housemates, who was a male, who she fancied and who she had slept with and who she had kissed. And I got it out of her. Like, I got this information out of her by grilling her for a while, and she finally told me the truth. And that was shit. And I remember going out, like, after finding out, I went out into the London night, and I bought noodles, because noodles was a comforting thing for me, because I'd loved Chinese noodles since I went to Reading Festival. Actually, one of the first times I went to Reading Festival, I got a load of noodles, and they were really nice from those noodle stores that they have in festivals, you know. And it was great, and I loved them. And I think that when I realised that the relationship I was in was falling apart, and that she cheated on me with this guy, and it was like over, I think I just needed noodles. I went out and I just bought some noodles for £5, sat on a bench, ate them, and I don't know, it was a very strange sensation. Sort of a mystical sensation, I would say. It feels, I'm talking about the memory. The memory feels, or that time, the sort of feeling I've got of that is me sat on a bench. I've got everything going on around me, like people walking about, and in a way it's kind of peaceful. Like, I think probably because I was in such a shock moment that I just didn't. Is that rain? It was raining on that day as well, when I went and got those noodles after Mrs. A had told me that she had been cheating on me. Yeah. I sat on this bench eating these noodles in the night, and the drizzle, and these people were walking around London stuff, and it was just kind of this atmospheric feeling, you know, where it's just like there's nothing else to do. You can't. It's just that sort of surrendered moment of like no further complications to the situation, because that was it. And yet a feeling of emptiness as well, and a feeling of this kind of emptiness, empty sadness there. But a certain beauty to it as well. I remember there's this kind of feeling of neon signs blinking, and the sound of people walking by me was quite, I don't know, it seems peaceful in the memory. I remember experiencing a feeling of lostness, not knowing what the hell to do. I was suddenly out on my own and randomly buying noodles in the middle of London without my girlfriend because I didn't have a girlfriend anymore, pretty much, even though we did sleep together for a little bit afterwards, but it was just like, it was gone. It was gone. And there was a strange, sick, twisted feeling, I suppose, in my stomach. Like, oh, God. Yeah. Lost. And then I wrote some lyrics. I don't know whether I wrote them right there and then or later on when I got home or something. But I wrote the song called Better, and it's talking about just feeling like crap because your girlfriend is going off with some other guy, and I'm saying don't take him, and I hate this, and well, unless he's better for you, then fine. Maybe he is better for you. Maybe it's what you need to do. Fine. And I was pretty pleased with that song when I wrote it, because I was like, wow, it's so meaningful, and I'm being so like gentlemanly and just surrendering and letting it go and like whatever. Yeah, stupid thing. So that was the noodles thing, and then I remember I went out. It must have been the same night. I went out with another girl, just like on a friendly as a friendly thing with a few other of her mates. Just went to a club and I got a bit drunk, and I guess I tried flirting with her or dancing with her, but it was all fucked because I wasn't in the good place to be flirting, because I'd just been basically lost my relationship, so I was feeling like shit, and I was in no place to be any kind of attractive person. And I don't think she knew, this friend. I don't think she knew what had happened. I'm not sure if I told her. Maybe I think I did tell her actually, and she wasn't particularly sympathetic. She's just like, oh well. Ah, great. I hate people who are like that, who don't sense when I'm unhappy or when other people are unhappy. Like, the right thing to do in that situation is, if someone's really fucking bummed out, is to go, are you okay? Have a little chat about it. Try and make them feel better, give a bit of sympathy, get a bit of compassion, kindness, warmth. Be a bit generous with your time, not just like, oh well, whatever then, carrying on. Oh, she was so self-absorbed, that person. So yeah, okay. So I went out partying, got a bit drunk. It was crap. I felt like crap. I must have gone back to Mrs. A's flat afterwards. So I guess I'd already planned to stay there, and I wasn't going to go home at that time. It was quite late, so I guess I still slept in her bed with her, and I remember we had sex a couple of more times, and then we just kind of said goodbye. Like, yeah, this sucks. This is the end. I didn't really want to leave, but then I did want to leave because of what she'd done. I remember being down in the bottom part of her flat thing on the way out to the door, and just sort of maybe hugging her or something, or saying goodbye or something like that, and that was it pretty much. We did actually stay in contact for a long time afterwards, but that was the end of the relationship. Yeah, okay, bummer, major bummer, dudes, major bummer. And that took me ages to recover from that properly. I think I'm about recovered from it now. But I didn't really sort of face the feelings of it, I suppose. I did my best, but I didn't really know how to. I wasn't very good at knowing how to deal with my feelings and get over things. I wrote songs. That was the main thing. I wrote a load of songs about it. But I think that was still a bit stuck in the mind space. I wasn't really getting over it in the feeling space. And in order to get over things, you have to you deal with the thinking of it, but you also got to deal with the feelings that are there behind it. And I didn't really do that, which that kind of got stuck. And I wasn't over Mrs. A when I got with Mr. B. So actually, that was a big part of my relationship with Mr. B, was me still being attached to and not over Mrs. A. So it was very silly because I wasn't ready for a relationship, and I dragged myself into a relationship, I suppose. I felt dragged into a relationship. I didn't want to be in a relationship, but I was also desperate, as I mentioned before in one of the previous videos, that I was really desperate. I felt alone. I felt depressed. I felt like I needed to be with someone. I didn't have that emotional resilience that I do now, where it's okay to be alone and it's okay to be by myself, and I quite enjoy being by myself. And in fact, oftentimes I choose to be by myself because I prefer my own company a lot of the time, to the company of people who are dicks. Yeah, but I also like being around people who aren't dicks. Yeah. I notice I'm shifting around in my chair a lot. I guess I'm uncomfortable talking about this. Do you know what I'm uncomfortable with at the moment is I feel like this is a real bummer of a topic to talk about, and it's not exactly entertaining as a video. So, normally I'm quite bright and bouncy and talking shit and whatever, and I can't do it today. And maybe I shouldn't either, because sometimes the truth is of being bummed, isn't it? And not up the arse, but the truth is of being in a bummed mood, and that's the truth. So you got to roll with the truth rather than trying to positivize everything all the fucking time. That just makes you pissed off. Oh, so yeah, she cheated on me, fucking bitch, and I wasn't over it. I got my hair cut to signify moving on. And this chair is really annoying me. Oh man, I'm so uncomfortable today in this video. Maybe it's because I'm being a bit more vulnerable than usual. Okay. That's still annoying me. Right, well, let's carry on. So I went out with Mr. B after the party that had been arranged for us to get together, and I carried on, and maybe I can't do this video today. No, let's keep going. So I should have done the fucking idioms. I can't remember what I was talking about. Well, I went out with Mr. B. I'm obviously stuck in that area. Oh yeah, so the fact that I wasn't done with Mrs. A was really coming up in the relationship with Mr. B all the time, because I was still thinking about her from previous, and still trying to get over her, still in love with her, still really wanted to be with her, and I was still actually in contact with her, and I wanted her to be my friend, and really I wanted to be going out with her, but I wanted to not break off contact with her, and Mr. B was not happy about that because it was my ex, which I think is fair enough, but then it's my fault in that sense then for being in a relationship and for not leaving the relationship sooner, and it just was this long drama, so much fucking drama, and this guy was a bit of a nutter. He used to freak out a lot about things and just throw stuff around the room. He used to throw his phone around. He used to throw the little remote for the TV around. He was very perfectionistic and controlling. Like, I came home to his one day because I started living with him, and he just completely redecorated the room. And I was like, okay, this is kind of shit actually because it's grey. Oh well. And I used to meditate on a little pillow there. I was getting into Buddhism at that time. And I was practicing mindfulness meditation. Let's put him away because he's distracting. I feel like he's distracting you more than me. Oh man, this sucks. My mind's completely blank. Okay, so I went to uni. Why is my mind so blank? Alright, let's look at the idioms. Maybe it's the idiom. Oops, fucking hell, I nearly destroyed the whole place. Monkey and ape. Bit dragon. This is good stuff. Monkey and ape, to monkey with. To interfere, usually with harmful results. Dennis has been monkeying with the grandfather clock, now it won't chime. I can't do this, man. I told you about the toilet thing. He put these pictures up in the toilet of us looking happy and smiley. That was shit, and that made me realise that his view of the relationship was not the same as my view, and he had a very deluded, skewed perspective of the relationship, and he was trying to make it seem like it was a happy relationship, and it really wasn't a happy relationship at all. Oh god, and we went to Bath together on a holiday thing for a few nights, or days and nights. Went on this interesting tour called Scary Bath or something, or Ghoulish Bath, or Haunted Bath, or Bath of Funny Bath or something. It was weird. It was like a comedy tour at night, maybe about hauntings or something in Bath. And that was really good. That was good. We had a beer in a pub, or maybe a meal in the pub as well, I don't know. And he was paying for pretty much everything because I didn't have much money or any money at the time. And I remember coming back from the Bath trip and owing him like £400 or something. And I was like, oh, God. And he was always saying things like, oh, it's okay, yeah, pay me back whenever. And then also guilt tripping me about it at the same time. Like, oh, you haven't given me any money for it or whatever. Or, you know, he had this resentment. Like, he wanted to do it for me. He thought that it was something he could do to show his love for me, I suppose. And then his actual feelings were more resentful that I hadn't given him the money. So that was confusing. And he was very weird about money as well, actually. I remember He was always trying to control my decisions on money, now that I remember. Yeah, I remember this. So, like, he wouldn't let me give money to charity. He wouldn't let, yeah, he wouldn't let me give, he was very possessive over my money and directive over my money. Like, I went out busking and I wanted to give away like the 5p's and 10p's, or at least anything below like 10p. I don't know. I think it was 5p's and 10p's. I wanted to give away. No, I think it was just the 5p's and below. I wanted to give that away to charity, and he was like, "No, no, you can't, or you shouldn't." And it was just so invasive. His whole way of being was such a medley, possessive, controlling, insecure, manipulative, just really just wants to sort of wanted to direct my whole life, basically. So he wouldn't let me, whatever that means, he wouldn't let me donate my money to charity and made a fuss about it. A lot of fuss over and over again. And in fact, our values were completely contrasting in virtually every area. I was about environmentalism. He was basically conservative. Yeah, so I was a kind of Green Party supporter. He was a Conservative Party supporter, like a hard Tory kind of line of things. He was all about what's he all about? He was all about self-interest, and I was all about compassionate interest for others, or wanting to do your bit for other people and the environment. And he was always about that we are the most important ones first, or something. And it just didn't work. It just was a complete clash. I wanted to be vegan, which I did end up becoming a vegan, and he just contested every decision that I was making about my own life, and just contested everything that I was doing in my life. I wanted to be a vegan, so he's making a fuss about it because what? I wanted to shave my hair for charity, and I did, and he made a big fuss about it. Because he might not find me attractive with it, or whatever. Just, oh God, I'm so glad I'm not with that guy anymore. And he just wanted to direct my every fucking move, like, and had always had something to say about every decision that I was making. And now that I think about it, I didn't do that to him. Like, I wasn't doing that to him. So I suppose he put all his attention into me and then didn't allow me the same in return. It was always focused on me and my actions and my lifestyle, and like everything was kind of wrong. And anytime I wanted to do something, there was always a problem suggested. Like, I remember wanting to do a show in Edinburgh show, the comedy thing, Edinburgh Festival. Yeah, I was thinking to get some money together to put on a show, because I was doing a lot of stand-up comedy at that time, and just all I got from him was problem, 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 and that I shouldn't do it. And if I think about it, really, that is the same kind of approach that my parents have had historically, with many things, that their view of my life is the right one. And that anytime I consider doing something of my own steam that they don't really approve of, or that they don't think is going to work, then they just put every possible emotional, psychological roadblock in the way to disempower me from doing anything. that might actually work for me. Oh, this is a hard video. So, and there I was in conflict inside myself about this situation I was in with this person, this male relationship who I had gone around everyone telling everyone that I was gay now. And this is the main crux of the problem, was the identity factor, because I'd said and told everyone and taken on this identity as a gay person. I felt like I had to stick to that, even though my internal feelings were not necessarily really very gay at all, actually. I didn't want to be having sex with him. I didn't enjoy the sex. I didn't want to be having sex with him, and he always wanted to be having sex with me, and he kind of would force me into having sex with him, but not physically force me, just guilt trip me, whining, manipulation, persuasion, just very whiny. And he just really wanted his way the whole time. Oh God. I remember being in my university halls, and he'd come over to stay. And he was just so whiny. And he just wanted so much attention all the time. And he couldn't couldn't just be in the same room with me and him do something and I do something, like how I can be with other people, or how I've been with other people, since then, where you're just you're okay to not be constantly interacting all the time, that you can actually be together, and it'd be nice to be doing separate things but in the same space and have that same sort of feeling of comfort, like one person's reading a book and the other one's playing a computer game, whatever, you know. That kind of thing. So it wasn't like that. He was just very, very insecure, needy, whiny. Give me attention, he used to say often. Give me attention. Oh, God, it'd drive you insane, that kind of person. I just wanted him out of my room. I just didn't want him there at all. In a way, I feel a bit bad that I should have just fucking ended it straight away. I should have ended it. How did I get so dragged into that for so long, where I was really unhappy the whole time? Really unhappy, conflicted, confused, torn. My emotions were being manipulated all the time, and my brain was never allowed to kind of rest and figure out whatever I actually wanted, because everything was being run past him, and he wanted to know everything, and he was always trying to change or have an influence or push me in his direction. And I'm aware that I sound like a victim, but fine, because you know why? I'm going to say this now. I don't allow myself to go into victim mode. And that's bad, I think, because if I'm always trying to be strong, I'm never actually allowing myself to have the true experience of being able to blame other people sometimes, because sometimes it's not my fault. And I'm hearing people say, "Oh, you should have left." Yeah, I should have left, but I didn't. And like, the truth is, it took me a long time to even realize how much he had infected and invaded my mind space, and how he had basically changed everything about me and contested everything about me. Yeah. On the other hand, at that time in my life, I was quite enjoying the things I was doing that weren't related to him at all. I was enjoying my music. I was enjoying my university stuff. I went to a debate society, which was quite interesting because everyone was like, it was a whole new thing to me. I'd never been to a debate society before. It was quite a posh thing to do. And since I was doing politics and philosophy as a, well, I was doing art, politics, and philosophy, or politics and international relations and philosophy as well, modules, I mean. So as I was doing these debate argumentation type of topics, I thought the debate society would be a good one to go to, and it was quite fun actually. You you have a topic from the newspaper or something, and you argue a point, or there's a question, and you have to try and put forward a case, and you have to be very persuasive and rational about it, and put forward what your point of view is. And you get points when the other people like it or something. I don't know exactly how they were scoring the points, but they'd go bing, or they'd mark a point down or something. And then must be rain. Oh, it's finally rained. It hasn't been raining. It hasn't rained for like, Mum says 6 weeks. I can't remember how long. I can't even remember the last time it was rained. It was rained. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I was at the debating society. That was quite fun. I went to that quite a few times. There's so much to get on with at uni. You know, it's so much fun. Loads of different stuff. I was doing a radio show, which I did once a week. I got people, my friends, and even my mum came along. I don't know if I got my dad on air or not, but yeah, I was young, I was stupid, I was having fun, I was messing about, being silly on there, in the same way that I'll be silly on here. I'll be honest with you, not much has changed, apart from I'm slightly more mature now. Slightly. I'm a little bit more settled, I suppose. It's because I'm knackered. That's why. Anyway, I'm knackered from a lifetime of terrible, terrible situations. Yeah, so I was at the uni there, doing the little radio show there, playing my little emo tunes on the CD player back in those days, CD player, and a couple of little MP3s from the A list and the B list that you had to use. Mrs. A and Mr. B. No, it was nothing to do with that. But got my friends in, had a chat on there, was being fun, funny, whatever, enjoyable, liking that. Then I was also doing the comparing for the open mic night at the Students' Union, one of the bars there. The bar. No, one of the bars, yeah. That was good. That was good. So I was getting a lot of stage time, practicing my stand-up comedy stuff, coming up with jokes, trying them out on people, silly ideas, you know, dancing around on stage like a muppet. I remember getting told off once when I was involved in some Brokeback Mountain skit from some other comedian, where there was some what do you call it? We did like, I don't even know what word to use is. Mimicked. Did a bit about being bummed. Performed the action of him anally having sex with me on stage, and I got told off by this rampant lesbian feminist person. Oh God, saying about how you're letting the side down or something, and you're making a mockery out of our sexualities or whatever. And I was just like, oh God, I fucking hate this. Stupid. No, why can't anyone have any fun ever about anything? Everyone takes themselves so seriously. While we're at it, so I'd made this big gay identity for myself, and I was really trying to. Why did I do that? I think it's because it was something to structure my social self around. You know, I could use that as a point of reference for people, I suppose. A point of reference for myself. It made me non-threatening to the women around, and then I was going, oh man, I really fancy these women. Oh my god, they're so hot, they're so pretty, they smell so nice, and I get to spend close quality time with them because I'm gay now. So that was conflicting. It was confusing as well because of that. Because I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be gay, but I'm really enjoying spending this time with these women who I really actually fancy and who I'd like to be with. Yeah. I remember though that those days were some of the most clear and bright days that I've ever had, because when Mr.B wasn't around while he was at home, and I was just free, free to be myself. I would just go around and talk to all sorts of different people in the lunchroom. I sort of think I'd made myself into some kind of superhuman being in my mind. I was like a super gregarious guy. I was always trying to be caring and compassionate to people all the time, and that meant that I would sit next to the person who was the most socially rejected looking person and spend some time with them, which sounds like quite a nice thing to do actually. But then I realised later on, so you have to be kind of quite judgmental in the first instance to be thinking that people are rejects. But but no, no, no. I was just sat with the person who was by themselves, not necessarily socially rejected, but I was just trying to be. If someone looked lonely, then I'd go and sit with them. But I think I'd sort of made it into like I'm the guy who does this, and I did a stupid 1 minute silence thing where I stood up and I said to everyone that it was it was like for Stop AIDS or something. There was some kind of Stop AIDS campaign going on, and I was like, everybody, I would like to just lead you in a 1 minute silence because of the AIDS campaign that's going on here today. It's World AIDS Day, probably World AIDS Day. Stood up and said this, and I got them all to shut up for a minute. No one had invested me with this authority, by the way. I wasn't voted in as being the leader of the fucking world. By I think I was such a bellend. I was so up my own ass. I was so infused with idiocy. If someone else had done that while I was like who I am now, I'd be like, oh god, you loser, you fucking dick, and I probably would have stood up and gone, no mate, not gonna. And then my other self would have been like, whoa, no, you should be you're a bad boy. I don't know. Now I'm just having arguments with two different versions of myself in the past that don't even, one of them doesn't even exist. So yeah, so I stood up in the dinner hall and got them all to do a 1 minute silence or a 2 minute silence even. I don't even remember. But yeah, and that's just so ridiculous, isn't it? It's so pompous. It's so pompous to just take control of a whole lunch hall. No one. I was like so full of myself. I just thought that everyone loved me basically, and I thought that everyone was. I thought everyone loved me, and most people didn't give a toss. If I think about it, really, I mean, suppose I was using the little bits of positive reinforcement. I feel like it's a Ricky Gervais thing. I think like it's the David Brent kind of thing where just it's completely self-absorbed and thinking I'm doing a good thing for other people somehow, and doing this whole crusade thing, social justice warrior type of thing was what it was at that time, and just really self-aggrandizing by thinking I'm doing a cause, like the whole working for a cause that's bigger than you sort of gave me an excuse to be really grandiose about myself in a humble grandiosity. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, where you take on the role of a saint, so you feel like you are doing everything for everyone else's benefit, and yet you're getting a smug satisfaction out of being the one who's doing that. So you've got this massive ego about being humble, which is stupid. Yeah. So that was silly. Oh yeah, and I got the chef guy to change some of the fucking food to bring in more vegetarian and vegan options, which actually is pretty good thing. Yeah, I think that's quite good. That is genuine for other people, helpful, because no one else had stood up for vegetarian rights. There, and the food, if you were a vegetarian, was pretty slim pickings. You know, what are you going to eat? Beans and banana, beans and banana in the hall's cafeteria, which was it was a catered halls, so they had like part. I don't know, man. You had like a certain amount of credits that you got in a little card every week, which was paid for in your hall's fees. So you pay for your halls of residence, like the fees for that included a meal, like what was it, 3 meals or 2 meals a day? I think you got breakfast and dinner every day. No, you got lunch as well, definitely lunch as well, yeah. So breakfast, lunch and dinner every day during the week, and then the weekends was just like one meal or something. I can't remember. But yeah, I got the guy to. I had a little meeting with him. I just asked, but I didn't have a meeting with him. Did I have a meeting with him? I don't know. I just asked him, "Can you sort of improve the choice for the vegetarians, please?" Because I know that I'm not the only vegetarian. I know we've got a few vegetarians lying around in here as well. And could you just bring in some more protein for us, please? Thank you very much. And he did. Hurrah. And again, I felt like a subtle sense of pompousness about the whole thing, like I was bossing around this guy. I suppose I felt infatuated with my own sense of authority, my own self-appointed authority. Well, yeah, whatever. So, and I thought I was this kind of leader in the making. Fine, silliness. And then I'd go around and talk to everyone as well, like being the little outreach beaver, little outreach worker. So I'd go around and talk to people, and I'd go and sit by them and be patronising to them, I suppose, and try and cheer them up because I had all this positive energy. I genuinely was quite a positive, fun, happy kind of guy at that time. So whatever. But I can imagine if if I was on the receiving end of myself, that sounds dodgy. If I was to receive my behavior, that person then, who I was then, if I was to be on the receiving end of that now, I'd be like, just can you like go away? Stop being so fucking invasive. It's just invasive and annoying. And like, why are you? I would ask the person, why do you do that? Why do you go around to everyone and talk to them? And the other guy would probably say, the past me would probably say, oh, because I'm trying to make everyone happy, and I want to be compassionate and caring person, and I'm a Buddhist, and I'm gay, and then probably just go off on some rant about saving the environment. Oh man. Yeah, whatever. Maybe I'm just like playing bad, like making myself sound bad in the past, but I think I did some good things. I think I was a genuine person as well as having this slightly self-aggrandized side. Pardon me, but I genuinely thought I was helping people, and I noticed that people were, uh, it was making people kind of happier. One of the friends of mine at the time who I desperately fancied and was basically in love with, which was another reason to be conflicted about the relationship with Mr.B. So still with the relationship with Mr.B, remember? But we'd kind of put him on the side of the story because I just didn't care. Like when he was out of my sight. It was just out of sight, out of mind. I could forget about him. And I was so glad to be away from him. And yet, at the same time, felt completely tied. I had to go back to call him every fucking day for like an hour or two because he wanted to hear from me every day, and we would talk on, I don't know whether it was Skype or something similar like that from back in the old days. This was like 2005. Yeah, and then we would have wank together or something. So that was the one shit thing in my life that I felt like I had to do out of some guilt reason. And the rest of it, I was doing it because I wanted to do and because it was fun and enjoyable to do. And yeah, I still feel I fucking resent him. I resent him because I quit my uni course because basically, there are other reasons as well, but basically, he wouldn't let me move in with this bunch of girls who were in my campaigns group. Um, none of whom I actually, one of whom I fancied, but I was gay, and it wasn't the I kind of couldn't really fully allow myself to fancy anyone properly. I couldn't fully admit that to myself that I did actually fancy these girls. At least one of them, two of them, three of them, at least three of them, four of them, five of them. Oh dear. What's going on in this story? So, gone blank again. Blank. Oh dear. So I'm just gonna have to go back a little bit. So I was at uni, enjoying my life, felt I had purpose, felt I had passion, felt I had commitment, felt I had dedication, was meditating still. I used to get up every morning and do half an hour meditation in the morning and pretty much fall back asleep on my pillow thing. Really fucking hard to do meditation when you wake up in the morning. But it's like, what? Don't bother. And then I do one in the evening as well if I could remember, like 20 minutes or half an hour or something. And I had a great experience. One meditation experience was amazing, where I was thinking about the nature of infinity, and then all of a sudden my brain kind of merged into the nature of infinity, and I felt like my sort of mind opened up massively, and that I felt for a moment I tasted and knew what the nature of infinity was. Like I touched it with my brain, actually, like non-conceptually. I just felt this. I felt like I was God, but I was in touch with what God was, and had this sense of eternity going on, which was amazing. And then I went round like I needed to tell someone about this, and I went and found my Christian buddy from the next halls along, and I was like, "Oh, Ma," I'll give him his name because he's never going to watch this. Mike, I fucking, I don't think I swore, but I've just had this amazing experience. I feel like I've just like gone into the nature of infinity and stuff. And he said, "Yeah, you've just had an experience of God, man." I was like, okay, that guy was an idiot as well. Oh god, university students are so fucking stupid. They're ridiculously twerpish. They're every one of them, apart from a couple of them. And do you know what? I didn't spend enough time with the students who weren't idiots. I spent time with all the stupid ones because I suppose they're more interesting, aren't they? Really, I spent time with the idiot Christians who are always trying to convert me and tell this guy Mike we would just basically tell enthusiastic stories about Bible. He would just basically get really, really enthusiastic about a particular, like Solomon, and Job, and he'd just go, and he's just like this, Job, and then I'm like thinking, you're just telling the story though. It's just like it is actually just a story. Why are you so excited about a fucking story? And you're like, and you're sort of waiting for him to kind of snap out of it and just kind of talk normal. Like, why is everything a story about the Bible? Well, why are you telling me the whole story from like chapter fucking 7 till 19 of Luke? You've just told me that whole thing off your head, off the top of your head, you crazy Christian nutter. So they were always trying to convert me, and some of them are really ugly as well. Like, their faces are just like just teeth everywhere, you know. Christianism, Christianity, is it worth it if it's gonna make you ugly? You know, I think that's what you do when you're ugly. You turn to Christianity, and they deal with the rest of it instead. If you're ugly but your soul is saved, fine. Okay, very different session today. I understand that. It was weird. Didn't know where I was going most of the time. Had some vulnerable moments where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I didn't move the story on. In fact, I just got more bogged down into the details of a certain specific time period. I was supposed to be trying to move it on towards the kind of America part of things, but oh well. You now know a little bit more about what was going on when I was at uni. I haven't even finished covering that area either. Okay.